In this video, guys, I want to talk about what does patience actually mean in trading. We've heard it before, be patient, be patient. What does it actually truly mean? Stick around. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. All right, so let's talk about patience. You've heard it all the time. You've read the books. I've probably talked about it before. Be patient in trading. Must be patient, must be patient. What does it actually mean? And many people go, okay, well, it's just this one thing. But really, you need to step back a little bit. And I step back and go, okay, listen, if everybody who is at a high level is saying be patient, what are they actually meaning? When Paul Tudor Jones says be patient, is that the same as someone who's a high intensity scalper being patient? What are they saying? Everyone's saying the same word, but definition's got to be different, right? So let's look at all those scenarios. So for me, the first one is your trading journey. You know, many people, we're human beings, right? We want it now. We're so used to ordering Deliveroo, Uber Eats, with this and that and the other, Amazon Prime. It's like, I want it instantly, I want it. And it's the same with trading, right? It's the same with anything that's worthwhile. We want a six-pack now. We want, extreme wealth now. We want to be a great trader now. We're just human beings, right? We have to temper that, especially in the trading world, and understand the journey takes time. Be patient and go, listen, it's going to take me time. It's going to take me screen time. It's going to take me setbacks. It's going to take me dedication. It's going to take this. And the difference, I think, with trading versus any other startup business, say, is you can't force, I suppose you could, but if you were starting up, some kind of other business, right? And let's say you were fielding clients. This was a marketing business or something like that, some sort of business where you have clients. It takes time for you to build credibility and do some work with people and get some feedback and get a sales pipeline and all this other stuff, right? It takes time to build that, and you can try and force it, but you can't really do, unless you kind of plow all your capital into one thing and hope everything comes in at once. You can't really force it. You can be frustrated, you can be annoyed, you can I want more clients, I want to move it forward, I want to make more money. You can do that, but you really can't break things too much. And let's say, unless you kind of fired all your money out there, your startup money at one kind of idea and just marketing things and when it flop. But with trading, you can. If you get impatient, you can go, I want it more. Okay, well, I'm going to trade more. I'm going to trade bigger. I'm going to trade this. I'm going to trade that. And you can throw the whole thing out of balance. And so that's, I think, was the challenge with trading is, everyone suffers from this to some extent. Want it more, want it quicker. But the patient trader is the one who wins the game. It's the one who says, listen, it takes as long as it takes, and we've all got different goals in our minds and we're all trading at different levels. We're starting here. Some people are right at the early days and just looking to have a first green week. Some people are kind of a couple of years in looking for the first 10K. Some people are looking for 10 million. It doesn't matter. Everyone wants it quicker. And so being patient and saying, okay, it takes as long as it takes. And that takes a little bit of burden off your shoulders. You're like, hey, it takes as long as it takes, I'm in the game. I love the game. I like the markets. I like the journey. Let's roll. Let's see where it takes me. And that's so liberating. And that's part of the patience thing as well, being patient with the trading journey. Very similar, I guess, is your equity curve. Especially in the early days, it's like, okay, just ignore the equity curve, the process. And even then, when you're kind of more experienced trader and the equity curve has more meaning and that's where you're kind of placing much more value, even then it's a case of, listen, there are times when it's going to stagnate. And again, impatience can really damage us. If you're stagnating for a couple of weeks, couple of months, even longer, and you try and force things, that's when you get those blow-ups. Whereas if you go, hey, listen, it's stagnation, it's normal, it's not all going to be these exponential run-ups in my equity curve. I need to just accept the fact that the moving average is moving up, and just because it's sitting there doing a lot for a while, that's fine. And so thinking again in terms of your equity curve, going, be patient, whether you are at the beginning of your career and actually the equity curve is meaningless because it's a loss and you should be measuring your development and growth in terms of your experience, your screen time, your adherence to rules, all the stuff you've learned, not your equity curve. We talked about that many times. But if you are at a phase where the equity curve is in the right direction, that's more important to you, then again, it's still being patient about this type of stuff. You think of that big old hedge funds out there. I know they're not quite the same as retail traders or intraday traders or active traders even, but the patience of, you see some of these funds, big, huge funds have times when they've had pretty brutal drawdowns in the year and they've not just gone, let's just throw everything on it. They've got to stick to the process. Let's pull back. And then you've seen 3 years then of 40%, 20%, 13%. You're like, wow, you've well and truly blast through the high. It's that patience of sticking to the process and not worrying about Even there's little nuances. Okay, so this is now probably the stuff that we kind of look at as active traders here. Is patience with your trade setups. We've read the books, guys, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, all these other books. It's just the patience of saying, hey, stop taking trades that there's no edge in. You know, if you've got no edge in a trade, and sometimes it's hard to quantify, I get it, but if you've got no expected edge, you've got nothing really there, you're just gambling. And the difference, the separator is definitely the trader who can sit there and go, hey, I don't see anything that I want to risk money on, versus a trader who goes, what's the best thing? What's the best thing? And tries to find the best out of a bad day. And you're trading in a rubbish day, a rubbish environment, but they're picking something they never normally pick. And it's having that standard of saying, I'm not going to get involved unless I see this, or this, or this, or this. I just done a video a moment ago, which should be uploaded now, if not, it's going to be uploaded in a few days, talking about different chart patterns, you know, and broadly, not like really going into mega detail, but kind of broadly looking at these 12 different chart patterns and going, okay, this is the theme, and they kind of start you on the flow of, okay, what's next? What's the trigger? How do I get into that trade? And so thinking about when you should be getting involved, or when you even want to get involved, it's that patience. And again, not letting the impatience go, well, I'll just take it anyway. I'll just take it anyway, and convince you that's the right thing to do. And the final thing is trade maturity. So that's holding the trade. And I know this is a topic in itself. You know, often when we try to hold the trade, it's the time when it comes back. If we don't hold the trade, it goes on. I know that, right? That's a massive topic in itself. But being able to, and listen, we all suffer from this. Today, I had a little bout where I had to go, whoa, easy, Mark. You were expecting too much. I bought this market and it started to rip off the open, and my expectation, well, it's going to keep ripping. But of course it didn't. It just sat there, it pulled back. I was like, hey, listen, you're being impatient here. You want this to go straight in a straight line and go straight up to your target in the first 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Yes, it started to look like that, but now it's changed its momentum. It's changed its structure. Does that mean the target is not going to be hit? No, it just means that way it's going to be hit has perhaps changed. Put your stop in, widen your play a little bit. Don't be so aggressive by being, you know, extra aggressive with the ads. Be more cautious, recalibrate to the new rhythm, and be patient. And so I go, okay, you know, right, I got caught up in that, and I was trying to force stuff, and it was okay, with no damage or anything, but my expectations were one of impatience. And I had to go, right, listen, scale things back in terms of what you expect from the market. That target is the target still valid? Yes, I believe it is. What price action would you see that would make that invalid? Well, if it went back under this level, okay, fine, well, there's your stop. Are you happy and comfortable with the risk you're taking on that? Yes, okay, well then leave it. Let's come back in a couple of hours and see where it's gone. You know, you've got your limit in there for half the position at the target. There's no big deal. You don't have to be pressing it too much. Now, just be patient. If it takes all day, it takes all day. If it doesn't do it, it doesn't do it. And then it's like, okay, yeah, you can relax a little bit. But the impatience as humans is like, that's the default setting of, I want it now, and it's definitely going to go now. I'm going to add it, we'll do this and do that. And the market may look like that, but at a point, just can relax and just like, okay, it might just come back, new high, you just drift, a nice steady chug, hit that target in a day. It doesn't matter if it hits in the first 15 minutes or in the first 5 hours. It's irrelevant, right? So it's that calmness of saying, hey, let the trade mature. You know, you've taken all the risk, you've done the hard work, you've found the entry, you've allocated capital to it, you've allocated resources. Now you can sit back and let it do it. And often we kind of look at different price and go, oh, it's not doing it. Let it do it. Let it take its time. It's not always going to go in a straight line and be aggressive drive. Sometimes it does, and that's great. But sometimes it's going to take its time. It's going to come back. It's going to kind of fake out so low. It's going to do this. It's going to test that. Maybe it kind of ends up doing an afternoon break and you'll position nicely. Who knows? But it's that patience, stepping back and saying, how could the market do this? Am I happy with that? Yeah, sure. All right. Let's leave it. All right, guys. Those are 4 points that I think patience means in trading. Hope you like this one. Take care. See you next one. Get your risk managed. Bye-bye.